Sudoku solving session. I've got some good puzzles picked out for today. I'm going to be starting with a consecutive Sudoku. The rule here is it's just like a regular Sudoku. You have digits 1 through 9 that have to appear exactly once in each row and in each column and in each 3x3 box. But also, between any two consecutive numbers that share an edge, the puzzle marks that spot. So if you have, say, a 4 and it's next to a mark, you know the number on the other side has to be either a 3 or a 5. Conversely, if there is no mark, you know the numbers aren't consecutive. Without further ado, I'm going to pull one of these up. Oh, I'm using Puzzle Mix today, at least for the first few. That has free puzzles that are good quality. Let me switch it over so you can see it. Oops. There we go. Alright, let's get started. So, the first thing to do is just mark all the ones that we know given stuff that is consecutive to other stuff. So here has to be a 7 or a 9 because it's next to an 8. Since this is a 7 or a 9, this one's got to be a 6 or an 8. We're going to be looking a lot at when numbers are odd or even. Like if you know something is next to something that's next to an 8, then you know it has to be even. This has to be a 3 or a 5. Also, a notable fact that I'm probably going to use, this has to be a 2. 2 is the only number next to 1. 9 doesn't count. A notable fact that I'm going to use is the fact that if you have two consecutive numbers, like right here, one of them has to be odd and one of them has to be even. So the 6 has to go here or here. Therefore, each other one can only be one away from a 6, since it's either a 6 or it's next to a 6. And then this one here would have to be somewhere in that range. And this can't be the 6, so 5, 7, 9. This has to be a 6 or an 8. Okay, so suppose this is a 6, this blue one I've got marked here. There has to be a 5 and a 7 in the 3 squares next to it, so it has to be consecutive to both of them. But it's only consecutive to one of these 3 squares around it. So this can't be the 6. That means this has to be the 6. And now we're rolling. This has to be even. This has to be odd. This has to be even, which means it has to be a 6 actually. Can't be a 4 or an 8. This can't be a 6. Okay, so these 4 are all consecutive, so it has to be like 4 in a row. So we're either going up 6, 7, 8, 9, or we're going down 6, 5, 4, 3. And this can't be a 3 because of this 3 here, so we're going up. That forces this. And this has to be a 7, this has to be a 9, now this has to be an 8. Alright, what's left in this row? 2, 4, 5, and 6. That tells us that the 2 has to go either here or here, since it can't be in one of the consecutive ones. Don't see a whole lot else yet. Okay, so an 8 has to go somewhere in here. Because it's the only place it can go in this box. 8 can't go here because then this would have to be a 7 or a 9. So 8's got to go on one of the edges. I believe that means the middle one has to be a 7, because these have to either go up from 8 or down from 8. And you can't do 8, 9, 10, because 10 is not something you can do. So that's a 7, these are a 6 and 8, this is a 6 and a 6 or an 8. That just leaves 3, 5, and 9 for these. I believe. What's left in this row? 1, 3, 4, 8, 9. That's a lot still. Okay. Okay, looks like we have a lot of 7s on the board. 4 of them. Has to be in the middle row in this box. Has to be on the left row in this box. Has to be on the top row. Sorry, left column. Top row in this box and the top row in this box. This one can't be a 7 because this here is a 6 or an 8. Either way, it'd be next to a 7, and these are not consecutive. So 7 has to go here or here. What else can we say? Where can 9 go in this box down here, the middle bottom one? Well, it can't go on the right because this is 6, 7, 8. It can't go in the middle because of that 9 above it. And it can't go here because of that 9 to the right. It was here or here. If you have a 9 here, this has to be an 8. That's not allowed because of this 8 up here. So 9 can't go here. Therefore, it has to be here. Now we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left for these boxes, and these are 3 in a row. Oh, this can't be a 9 now. What do we have left for these 4 squares? Keeping in mind that these 3 have to be 3, 5, and 9. This has to be 1, 2, 4, and 6 in some order. This one can't be a 2 or 6. This one can't be a 2. Okay. This can't be a 1, because then this would have to be a 2. Now this can't be a 1, because then the only spot a 2 could go would be here, and these two would be consecutive. Similarly, this can't be a 2, because one of these has to be a 1. So this has to be a 6, as a 1 and a 2. 3, 5. This is either a 2, 4, or 6. Can't be a 2 or a 6, so it's a 4. This can't be a 9. What's left in this top row? 3, 5, 6, 9. These two have to be 3 away from each other, since we have a bunch of consecutive ones here. That means this has to be either a 3 and a 6 or a 6 and a 9. Can't be a 5, because this would have to be 2 or 8. If it's 3 and 6 in between here, then we have 4 and 5 here. That's not allowed because of this 4. So this is a 6 and a 9. And there's a 7 and an 8 in between. It means this can't be a 9, which means the 9 has to go here. Which means this can't be an 8, or else they'd be consecutive. That tells us which way this chain goes. This can't be a 5 because it's next to a 6. Boom! We are rolling. We are rolling. This has to be a 1 or a 3 now, I believe. So this has to be a 5. Only place a 5 can go in that row. 1, 3, 4 is left in this box. 1 has to be in the middle, because otherwise a 3 and a 4 are next to each other. This has to be the 4. This has to be the 3. Now this is a 2 or a 4. Gotta be a 2. This can no longer be a 6. And what about over here? 2, 6, and 9? Looking good. This can't be a 3, it's next to a 4. How about this column? 1 and 5. This has to be even. It's got to be a 2 or a 4, because it can't be a 6 or an 8. If this is 1, 2, this has got to be a 3. If it's 5, 4, this has still got to be a 3. The other one has to be the other one of 2 and 4. One, 2, 3, 9 left in this column. The 9's got to be here or here in this box. If it's here, then this is an 8, and this is a 6. And it doesn't look like anything contradicts itself there yet. This can't be a 6 anymore. This can't be a 4 or a 5. What's this row? 2, 4, 6, 5, 6? So this is 2 or so. Oh, wait, this has to be a 6 then. Yeah, 6 is the only thing that can go there. This is a 5 and a 4 now. This can't be a 5 because it's next to a 6. This has got to be a 1 because it can't be a 3. 3, 4, 5 is left. This can't be, the 4 can't be in the middle, because it has to be next to any of these 3 that it's next to. And there's only 1 bar, so it's got to be here. There's 3 and a 5, it's got to be that way. This can't be a 6 now, next to a 5. This can't be a 2. Oops. Because it's next to a 3. 4 and 6 are left in this column. And in this column, oh, this can't be a 6 anymore. In this column now, 2 or a 5. This one's going to have to be the 5 because it's next to a 4 or a 6. Yeah, 1, 3, 9 left in this column. This has got to be a 1, right? Yeah, it can't be. Yeah, 3 and 9 already in that row. Which means this is the 3, this is the 9. Don't know about the 4 and 6 yet. Oh, no, this can't be a 6 because it's next to a 7. tells us about these, that tells us about these, that tells us about these. We're almost done. 1, 4, 9 left in this column. So it should be that way. This is not going to be the 7. This is going to be the 7 in this row. This is going to have to be, what, 5, 6, 2 and 3 left. What about here? There's got to be a 3. This is a 7. And 1 and 8. Done. 14 minutes, 36 seconds. Not shabby. This site times me automatically, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, so that one wasn't so hard. I think I could have done it faster if I wasn't explaining myself so much, but not a whole lot faster. 14 minutes, 36 seconds is a pretty good time for a consecutive Sudoku. There's another version called non-consecutive Sudoku, which is the same, except it's a given that there are no bars, which means that there just aren't any consecutive numbers that share a border. Hey Drunk Mutt, I see you viewing. Welcome. Thanks for the follow earlier, a few days ago. I'm going to get started on another one. Let's see, what do I have queued up next? I have a Sudoku X up next. This, again, is like regular Sudokus in that it involves putting a 1 through 9 in each row, each column, each box. But there's also this, oops, did we lose the window? There we go. We also have to put 1 through 9 on the diagonal. So, you see the diagonals here are marked in red. They also have to have 1 through 9 on them. Okay, so feel free to, by the way, say anything if you see some clues that I'm missing, especially if I get stuck. There's a lot of rows and columns here that already have a lot of digits in them. Let's look at this bottom row. 1, 3, 5, 8, 9 missing. 1, 8, 9 can't go there. There's got to be a 3 or a 5. I'm glancing at diagonal as well. Don't see anything that the diagonal, anything forced on the diagonal yet. There's a lot of 7s and 6s on the board. Let's look at where 7s, let's look at where 6s can go. Up here, 6 has to go in the middle row, middle column, I mean. Here, in this box, it has to go in the top row. Down here, 6 can go in any of those 4 squares. Oh, I guess there's only 3 6s on the board. I thought there were more. Oh well. There's a lot of 2s also. I don't know if they're in particularly useful places. I guess we have to have a 2 in the bottom row here. Can't be up here because of the 2 below it. Okay, look at the middle box. 3 has to go on the bottom row. This is interesting because these are both on the diagonal. Seven has to go here or here in this box. 9 has to go here or here. Actually, what's left in the middle box? 1, 3, 4, 5, 9. 1, 3, 4, 5, 9. Can't have a 4 or a 9 here. These have got to be 1, 3, and 5. Except that one can't be a 3. This one can't be a 1 or a 3 or a 9. Oh, that's interesting. The only place that a 4 can go in this middle box is in one of these two squares, the middle or the bottom left, which means that this is where one of these two is where the 4 goes on that top right to bottom left diagonal, which tells us that a 4 couldn't go, say, here or here. So keeping that in mind, a 4 can't go here or here, and we also have this row, this column, and this row blocked off by 4s. I think that forces a 4 to go here in this box. Yeah, it has to go here or here, just looking at rows and columns. And can't put a 4 here because then there'd be nowhere left for it to go in the center box. Excellent. This one is harder. Huh. Okay, so where can a 2 go in this box up here? It's got to be on this diagonal, since well, okay. Where can a 2 go on the top left to bottom right diagonal? It's got to be in this box, because the other boxes already have 2's in them. Can't be here, because of the 2 to the right, and it can't be here either, because then there's nowhere left for 2 to go in this box, this middle top box. So this has to be a 2. What's left in the top row? 3, 6, 7, 8. Let's write that in. How about this this leftmost column? 1, 5, 6, 8. Looks like. Okay. Three and 6 can't go here. I got that wrong. Because of these. It's just like 6 can't go here because of that one to the right. The only place a 7 can go on this diagonal is here or here. So there's a 7 to the right here and a 7 already in the other boxes. What actually can go here? A 1 can, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cannot. So an 8 and a 9. It's kind of interesting, I guess. Okay, so a 7 has to go here or here because that's the only place it can go on this diagonal. That means it can't go over here. It's the only place it can go in that box. It also can't go here. And it can't go here because then there'd be nowhere the 7 could go on the top right to bottom left diagonal, so this has to be a 7. Just 3, 6, 8 left in that top row, but can't do anything about that yet. This column has 1, 4, 8, 9 left, I believe. This bottom row may as well fill in 1, 3, 5, 8, 9. Not many places a 3 can go. What other numbers occur a lot around the diagonals? 4 has only 2 spots in this diagonal. It can go here or here. Here or here. Theoretically, we should have a lot of information on what can go in the middle. I guess we do know it has to be a 4 or a 5. There's a lot of stuff pointing that direction. Okay, let's take care of these other big columns and rows. Okay, what's left in this column? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, this has to be a 7, straight up. Okay, only thing that can go there. Cool. Which means that a 7 has to go here on this diagonal. Only place. A 7 has to go here in this box, only place it can go. Okay, almost. We're getting going. Oh, right, this row has 1, 4, 5, 8, 9, I think. Yeah. Cool, okay. Okay, what do I do when I'm not making much progress? I mean, we are making progress, slowly but surely, but just a reminder, when I'm kind of stuck, I want to look for places that look like there's a lot of logic there. And on Sudoku X, this is oftentimes means the diagonal. I have been primarily focusing on the diagonal areas. And the spots near them. And this has been working. Somewhat. Maybe it's time to try something else. Well, let's write down a few more things. The only spot a 2 can go on this diagonal, just looking at the other boxes containing that diagonal, it has to be there or there. Oh, only spot a 2 can go in this box is now that one. Which means the only spots 2 can go here are here and here. Yeah, so these are the only spots 2's can go. Here, here, and here or here, and here or here. All the other 2's that we have. What's left in this box? 3, 4, 6, 8. That could be useful. Looking at this row, I don't see anything. Nothing conclusive anyways. Oh, remember when I said the only spots a 4 can go on this diagonal are right here or right here? Well, this one's taken now. There's got to be a 4. That's nice, because that's on both diagonals, so that tells us a lot. Let's look at where 4's can go now. Here we have to have a 4 here or here. These can no longer be 4's. 4 has to go here or here. Here, can't have it in the top row, can't have it in the diagonal, so 4 is here, or here, or here. Except note here, in this box, 4 has to be in the middle row, so 4 can't actually go there. That means that this is actually the only place in this column a 4 can go. That gets us 6 of the 4's, I believe. Oh, and now 4 is known in this box, which tells us where 8 has to go in that box. 5, only place a 5 can go in this column. Only place a 3 can go in this row. One, 2, 3, 5 left in this column. This column 1, 3, 8, 9, I think. This can't be a 5. There, now we at least have something besides 2's, 4's, and 7's. Do we figure out where the other 4 went yet? No, we didn't. Still has to be here or here, and here or here. This column 1, 5, 6, 8, 9. In particular, a 1 can't go in any of these, so a 1 has to be here or here. Still can't figure out which. Close. My notation has been very sloppy this time, I should add. Hopefully I'm not messing anything up by reading my pencil marks wrong. I've been mixing two conventions. One where I write down all the numbers that can go in a box, and one where I write down a number in all the boxes it can go. Like, what I usually do is write down, like, in a box here, 4, 8, 9, I know where the numbers that can go here. But here, it's not just a 7 that can go there, but I did mark it because it is one of the few places that a 7 can go. So hopefully I don't mix these different types of pencil marks up. That would be unfortunate. And I would probably get something wrong and have to start over. Okay, back to the diagonals. What do we know? Not very many places that 3s can go. On this diagonal, it's either here or here. And on this diagonal, it's either here or here. Note that those are the same row, both of them. So one of these is going to be a 3, and one of these is going to be a 3. Wait, why can't this be a 1? Did I mess that up? I don't see why that can't be a 1. Yikes. That's a little scary. I don't know what happened there. Okay then, if I figure out later that it can't be a 1, I guess we're fine. Bottom row, 1, 8, or 9. Still can't tell. How about the second row? What's left here? 1, 3, 5, 6, 9. That's kind of a lot, but since I'm getting stuckish, I think it's worth writing down. Six, 9. I guess it's worth noting that there has to be a 1 here or here. That can tell us a lot about this diagonal if there ends up being a 1 here. Similarly, there has to be a 3 or a 3 here. Sorry, I mean a 3 here or here. Got my conjunction wrong. Looks like the only viewer I have left like 20 minutes ago, but do you see anything that I'm missing? Well, let's keep writing stuff down then. Let's finish these top row of boxes in terms of what can go here. This third column, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9. That's a whole lot. I think I'm not leaving anything out. Three, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. Is that everything? Ah, okay. And this one I've already filled in. Okay. How about this column? It's 1, 5, 6, 8, 9. In this box, we have 1, 5, 7, 8, 9. Oh, this is just 5 or 7. That's decent. And let's fill this box. This row has 1, 2, 3, 5, 7. Oh, this can't be a 9 anymore. Wait a sec. There's only one place a 9 can go in this box. Heh. Most of the time I'm stuck, I'm just missing something that's already there. These 9s can't go here or here. Yeah, which means there's only one spot a 9 can go in this box down here, because there's a 9 on that diagonal. Now, why can't 9 go here? Because of this 9 here. Therefore, 9 only has one spot in this box that it can go. And one spot in this box. Is that all the 9s? No. There's here or here, and whoa. There's here or here in this box, and in this box it has to be here or here. Has to be this only spot it can go on the diagonal. That's all the 9s. We're done with the 9s. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. This can't be a 9. Anything that's not filled in can't be a 9, no. Let's finish filling this box. What's left? In this row, 1, 2, 3, 5, 7. I already said this. And up here, 1, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, let's look at this column. We have 4 on it now. 1, 3, 5, 6, and 8 remain. Three and 5 can't go here. 1, 3, 5, 6, 8 means that this is a 6 or an 8, and this is a 1 or an 8. Ooh. Got these two here, the only ones left in that bottom row. And in this row, 1, 2, 6, 8. And I guess looking at the other diagonal as well, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8 are left. 1, no 3, 5, 6, 8, U. That's a lot. Okay, so looking at the diagonals, is there anything that can only go in one spot, or any spot where only one thing can go? I don't see such a number. No, I don't think so. I think this is the only box I haven't filled in. Let's do it. I think it's also 1, 2, 5, 6, 9. Not 9, 8. Ah, typos can be deadly. Don't typo. Alright, now let's look for patterns. See, here's 5, 6, 8, 5, 6, 8, 5, 6, 8. So one of those has to be a 5, one has to be an 8, one has to be a 6. So, oops. We can remove 5, 6, and 8 from all the others. It's got to be a 4, it's got to be a 3. And there's the only spot a 1 can go here. Now this forces this 5. Can't have a 1 here, because then there's nowhere 1 can go in the middle box. This can't be a 5. This can't be a 4. This is the only spot a 4 can go in this box. This is the only spot a 6 can go, which tells us about this diagonal a little bit. Looks like there's only a spot a 3 can go on this diagonal. So that's a 1, that's an 8, that's a 5, that's a 3. Done with the diagonal. What's left on this one? 1, 2, 6, 8, looks like. Okay. Oh, this has to be a 5. Yeah, we are home free now. Gotta be a 1. We're just about there. 3, 6. There's gotta be a 1 or an 8. There's gotta be a 2 or 3. Gotta be in that order. Can't be a 2. This is the only 2 on this diagonal now. Now 2 has to go here. This can't be a 6. Oops. Can't be a 6. Which means this is the only spot a 6 can go on the diagonal. Which forces a lot of things. 6, 8. 8. Oh, it's got to be a 1 now. 1, 8. 1. This can't be a 1 or a 1. This can't be a 5. This has got to be a 5. Uh-oh. Well, that's... Oh, wait. This... Okay, I was saying 5. That was the only spot a 5 could go in that row, but there's already a 5. This is a 6. The only spot a 6 can go in that row. Oh my goodness, that scared me. Okay. This has to be the 7 and the 8. 7, 5, 8. It can't be a 1. I really hope this is right. Yes! Alright, 32 minutes, 36 seconds. That's an alright time. This was a harder puzzle than the other one, I think. Whew. Man, I was... That little tiny mistake I made there at the end really scared me. I was afraid I was going to have to start over. That would have been really unfortunate. I would have been kind of upset. Yeah, I shouldn't mix notation like I did there. The whole 2 different types of pencil marks things that I already talked about. It's not very good. Alright, well, the next one is a 6x6 Sudoku X. So just like this one, it's up to the diagonals. Unlike this one, it should be a lot easier. Let me give you the Sudoku guy screen while I... my voice. Let me give you the Sudoku guy screen while I pull this next one up. It's a 6x6 Sudoku X. I'm going to just try to do this one as fast as I possibly can. Go. Three. Gotta be a 1 and 6. So 2, 4, 5. Three has to go here or here. So 3 has to go here or here. I'm mixing notation again, I know. Let's stop mixing notation and just fill everything in. This can't be a 1. This can't be a 6. Whoops. I'm just making pencil marks because I don't see anything yet. We know literally nothing about these 4. Okay, wow. Only one spot of 3 can go on this diagonal. That'll force things. Uh-oh. So 3 has to go here on this diagonal, but this is bad because it forces this to be a 5. No, this can be a 2. Did I just typo there? Okay. 3 has to go here, only spot I can go on the diagonal. This has to be a 6 now. 3. So this can't be a 5 because then you can't have a 5 here and you can't have a 5 there. So is this like, can you hear me okay? It looks like it. Okay, going fast again. Here. I can already tell this is going to be a pretty bad time. Bit bad, I just mean slow. Oops. Okay, 556. That's not awful, I'll admit. The average is 541. So I was slightly slower than average that time. That's okay. That was actually harder than I expected it to be. It's a good puzzle though. I'm impressed with how they made it solvable with only 6 clues. Alright, I have one more I want to do from Puzzle Mix. And this one is a killer Sudoku X. What that means is that it's a Sudoku X, so like the other ones we've done, the diagonals have to have 1 through 9 as well as the rows and columns and boxes. It's also killer, and what that means is there are little like outlined boxes, like with dashed lines, and those are going to have some numbers or maybe some operations. I forget. I think it's just numbers. And the numbers inside the dotted regions have to add up to whatever number the region says. Or multiply or subtract if it gives signs. But in the absence of signs, it's just you add them. And this is, I believe, supposed to be the hardest one that I haven't done. Oh no, the first one was actually harder. I thought the second one was a lot harder than the first, but the average time was slower for the first one. So, let me pull up the Killer Sudoku X, and we will get started. Oops. It's not capturing the right box. There we go. Alright, let's do this. Yes, and it's just numbers, it doesn't give operations. So this has to be a 1 and a 2, because it has to add to 3. So the other rule about Killer Sudoku is that you cannot have 2 of the same number in the same region. Even if you're in a situation where, like, they actually might be able to, like in this 29 here and here, ordinarily you'd be able to have 2 different numbers here, but the Killer Sudoku rules state that you cannot have 2 of the same number in the same region. This has to be a 3 and a 4 because the 1 and 2 are already taken over here, and this is the lowest possible way you can get. This is the lowest possible sum you can get with 2 numbers. Speaking of 29, this is going to have to be a 5, 7, 8, 9. It's the only way to get that one. So if we look at this top left box, it has to add up to 45 because it has to have numbers 1 through 9. And these 5 make 26, and these 2 make 7. That's 33 total. So these 2 together have to add to 12. So if this is a 9, this is a 3. That's not good, because these would have to be 3s. This can't be a 9. And if this is a 5, that has to be a 7. And that's not good, because you can't have a 7 plus something add up to 6. We're not allowed to use -1. So we have 7 or 8 here, and this has to be a 4 or a 5, which means this has to be a 1 or a 2. I'm betting you can use similar logic on some of the other boxes. I believe it's symmetric, the regions are. Actually, look. These 7 boxes here have to add to 29, so the other 2 have to add to 16. There's only one way to get 16, that's a 7 and 9. This can't be a 9, because these 2 have to add to 8. Here's your 9, this has to be a 3 to add to 12. Alright, we got some numbers down. We are started. That's good. Okay, so a 9 has to go in one of these 3, because that's the only spot I can go in this box. If a 9 went here, then you wouldn't be able to put a 9 anywhere in this region. So because there's a 9 in this 15 sum, it's going to have to be 1, 2, 3, 9. And the only place that 3 can go is there. This has to be 1, 2, 9. Yeah, so since we can't use a 9, the only way to get 21 is 6, 7, 8. I mean, anything else would have to be less. 6, 7, 8 are the highest 3 left. And this can't be a 7. That tells us this has to be a 4 and a 5. Only places left these can go. So these add to 9, so this has got to add to 10. Can't be a 4 and a 6, because you got a 4 here. Can't be a 3 and a 7, because there's a 3 there. Can't be a 1 or a 9, because one of these is a 1. So this has got to be 2 and 8. This can't be 6, 8, because then this, and this would all have to be 6 or 8, and only 2 of those can be a 6 and an 8. Means this is 5, 9, so 9 can't go there. Alright, so since this is a 3, and this is 20, that makes 23, and this is 14, that makes 37, this has to be an 8 to make 45. This can't be an 8. I believe I've deduced that 1, 2, and 3 have to go here, because there's nowhere else any of them can go in this column. I mean, everything else is 4 plus. 4 or more. This can't be a 2, and there couldn't be a 2 over here. These both have to be 8. That's not good. This can't be a 1 for similar reasons. That means it has to be a 2. Because if this were a 1, both of these would be 3s. That's really bad. Okay, suppose this is an 8. Remember how I said these have to add to 12? These two? Well, this is an 8, this is a 4, and this is a 2. So this can't be a 2 or an 8, which is a contradiction. So this can't be an 8. This is a 7. 7, 5, 1. This can't be a 1. None of these can be a 7. 1, 2, 6, 8, 9 is left, and that does indeed add up to 26. I'm not going to write it down yet. Oh, that tells us which way these go, and which way these go. So what's left in this column? 2, 6, 8, 9? Yes. This has to be a 2 and a 5, can't be a 1 or a 6 or a 3 and a 4 because of that 1 and 3 are already taken in the column. So this can't be a 2, because then these would both have to be 5. Oops. Oops. This is not a 2, so that's how the logic goes. Then that tells us about this. And I forgot this was a Sudoku X. This has to be a 5 or a 9, and it can't be a 5 because the diagonal. I entirely forgot about diagonals. How about this column? 4, 6, 7, 9. Yeah, 4 and 7 have to be in this box. In fact, this is the only place a 7 can go, and then this is the only place a 4 can go. So 6, 9 here, and then 1, 2, 8. This has to be a 6. So 6, 7, 8, 9 here. I mean, this is a 6, 8, 9 in some order, and there's a 7. That adds to 30, so these have to be 8. Can't be a 1 and a 7, can't be a 2 and a 6, gotta be a 3 and a 5. 4, 7, 9 remain. That's good, that adds up to 20. This can't be an 8 because of the diagonal. This can't be a 3 because of the diagonal, so it has to be a 2. What's left on this diagonal? 1, 4, 6, 7. Can't be a 4 because of this. Similarly, this can't be a 4 either. Yeah, typically the killer is a little bit more useful. It's one of the more useful restraints. It's also interesting because then you can give the puzzle without giving any of the numbers to start with. 3, 5, 8, 9 left in this row, so this has to be a 9. 3, 5, and 8 are in the column. Only thing that can go there is a 9. So 3, 5, 8 remain. This can't be a 3 because of that 1, 3 already in the box. And this being 3, 5, 8 tells us about this. If it's a 3, that's a 9. If it's a 5, that's a 7. If it's an 8, that's a 4. Okay, that wasn't as useful as I was hoping. So this column is 1, 2, 6, 7 remaining. Can't be 1. Actually, so this can't be a 1 or a 2 because these have to be the 1 and the 2 in this box. So that's a 6, that's a 7. That tells us about the 6 and 9 over here. Oh, so this can't be a 1 or a 2 because of these 1 and 2. If this were a 1, for example, these would both have to be 2. That's no good. Similarly, if that's a 2. Okay, diagonal. This has to be a 1. This now can't be a 1. This is the only place a 4 can go, I believe. Yep. 7 can't go there because of the box. There's already 1 in that box. 1, 2, 4, 6 left in this box here. Oh, this can't be a 4. This does add up to 20, so that's good. This cannot be a 7 anymore. It's got to be a 9. It means this has to be a 6. This has to be a 3. This has to be a 2. All because of that diagonal. This is a 5 or an 8, and this one's a 5 or an 8. Which leaves only a few things left for this. 2, 3, 4, I believe, the only spots they can go. Can't be a 3, can't be, oh, this is the 2. And actually, since we have this 1, we know this is 16, that makes 17. This is a 5, and 8, and a 9, that makes 22. Plus 17 is 39. And this 2 makes 41, so this had better be a 4. Okay, we know the order of these. Yeah, we're home free now, I think. What's in here? 3, 6, 7. It's gotta be the 3. Can't be an 8. 5, 9. which means that can't be 5. Because if this were a 7, if this were 5, this would have to be a 7 to add to 12. 4, 5, 8, 9 left in this box. This can't be a 5. This can't be a 6 because of the column. Know the order of these. Oh, that doesn't tell us what I hoped it would. Oh, this can't be a 9. Still doesn't tell us what I hoped it would. This can't be an 8. This has got to be the 8. Know the order of these. That tells us this. That tells us this. And this. 1 and a 2. This can't be a 2. There's a 2 above it. There's a 1 and a 7 in some order. There's got to be a 2. This can't be a 3, so it's 8. This has got to be a 4. This has got to be a 5. Yeah, now we just finish it off. Double check to make sure this adds up. It does. Good. Oops. Uh-oh. Oh, you can use the diagonal. This has to be an 8. $14 minutes, 53 seconds. Wow. Did that one in under 15 minutes. Pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah. 14 minutes, 53 seconds. I will take it. I'll call it easy. Under 15 minutes is... I've played ones that took me over an hour. Alright, well that's all the ones I wanted to go through for Puzzle Mix. That actually took me a lot less time than I expected. What do I want to do next? Puzzle Mix has a couple of other puzzles. Kakuro's mostly. I'm advertising this as a Sudoku stream, but I do like puzzles in general. I will stick to Sudoku for today, though. Don't worry. I think I'll do this. I took a contest this weekend, sort of unofficially. It's like the Indian National Contest, but I'm not Indian or have anything to do with India. They just open it to the public, which is really nice of them. And it had some themed puzzles. And I've solved most of them, but there are about 3 that I haven't done yet. So if I can get through... These are, like, really hard. So if I can get through, like, one of them in the 45 minutes we have left, that's probably pretty good. I think... Let me think about which one I want to do. I think I want to do the 0 to 8 difference. And in order to do that, I'm going to pull up an extra little sheet here. Yeah, I know you can't see anything yet, but I'm trying to keep the behind the scenes things, like, actually behind the scenes. Yeah, so this puzzle is hosted by Logic Masters India is the name of the website. They have a lot of great Sudoku and great other puzzles. There's a contest like every couple of weeks. I do not do well, but it's fun and it's good practice. Give me a little more time to create the sheet. Yeah, so let me explain how 0 to 8 difference works. Like consecutive Sudoku, there are some spots between squares that are marked. Unlike consecutive Sudoku, these mean different things in the different boxes. In each box, there's a number from 0 to 8, and all of the pairs of numbers that are next to each other that have a difference that's equal to that number for that box are marked. And the numbers 0 through 8, each of the numbers 0 through 8 corresponds to one of the boxes. So what I have to do is not only figure out which numbers go where, as in a regular Sudoku, but I also, in order to do that, I'm going to need to be able to figure out which boxes have which numbers corresponding to them. Oh hey, I have a viewer. Welcome. I am almost done sort of setting this up. I will show you the puzzle in just a second. I apologize for not having this ready to go beforehand. I got through the other ones faster than I expected. Okay. So there I pulled up a little sticky note that has a bunch of X's right now, but oh, looks like the viewer left. That's okay. So the X's I'm gonna have one of them corresponding to each box, and that will help me figure out which of the numbers go where, just like a regular Sudoku. So I have the instructions visible as well. So where do I want to put this? Let's begin. Alright, so first observation, the 0 has to be either the middle box or the bottom box, because a 0 has to have no markings in it. You're not going to have two numbers next to each other that differ by 0. That doesn't make sense. It looks like we're actually not going to be able to tell which one it is. Let's look at this bottom right box. It has 4 it has like a chain of 4 numbers. So this would have to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, or 2, 4, 6, 8, or something like that. So it can't be more than 3. Or it can't be 3 or more, because then you'd have to have 2 numbers that differ by 9. And numbers from 1 to 9 can't differ by 9. That's too big. Also, if these dots denote a difference by 2 in this box, then oh wait, we could have odd numbers. These would have to be either all odd or all even. They can't be all even because the 2's over here. The 2's over here. So this would have to be 1357 or 3579. Or it could just be 1. I'm not sure yet. Okay, so with 7 and 8, the only way you can have a difference of 8 is with 1 and 9. And the only way you can have a difference of 7 is with 1 or 8, or 2 and 9. So there's only 2 possible markings if you have x equals 7 or x equals 8. Whew, so that eliminates this box, this box, this box, and this box. It also eliminates this box because this is a marking here. If it's 7, this has to be 1 and this has to be a 1 and an 8 or a 2 and a 9, and both of those are impossible. So that leaves this one, this one, this one, and this one for 7 and 8. And also 0 has to be here or here. That's not quite enough to deduce the remaining x. I am convinced that the first thing I have to do is find at least some of the x's. I guess I could just look at the numbers and solve this like a regular Sudoku, see if that brings me anywhere. I see a lot of 9s. 9 has to go here or here. One of these 2 boxes. And a 2 has to go here or here. Okay, so this one has 3 consecutive, so it has to be 4 or less. I mean, the biggest, like the widest, the biggest way to take 2, the only way to, the biggest steps you can take and still take 2 steps within a single, while staying in 1 through 9, here would be 1, 5, 9, with steps of 4. You can't have steps of 5 or more. But you can't have x equals 4 here either, because there's already a 5, and this would have to be 1, 5, 9. Similarly up here, this would have to be, if this were 4, it'd be 1, 5, 9. But so this has to be 1, 2, or 3. This has to be 1, 2, or 3, and we already said this one has to be 1 or 2. So I'm gonna see if I can figure out how to write this down. This has to be 1, 2, or 3. This has to be 1, 2, or 3. Okay. Whew. If you see anything I'm missing, feel free to speak up. There are lots of 8s. Can I do anything with 8s? Not really. I mean, okay, if this down here is 2, then these 4 all have to be odd. If this bottom right is 2, these all have to be odd, because it can't be 2, 4, 6, 8, because there's already a 2. Which means your 8 would have to go here. And since x equals 2, that would mean these differ by 2. This would have to be a 6. Does this give us any problems yet? On the contrary, if this is x equals 1, this box, 1 can't go here because there's already a 1 in that row, and 1 can't be any of these because then it would have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's already a 2. So that means this would have to be a 1. And that would mean this would have to be a 2. This is the only spot a 1 could go if x equals 1 in this box, so this would have to be a 2. So that means that x can't be 1 in this box, because this can't be a 2, because there's already a 2 in the box. So this is the one that's 1, and that tells us that both of these are not 1. Sorry, it has to be 2. It has to not be 1. So this is 1 and 3 in some order. This box here and this box here are 1 and 3. So since this is 2, only spot 8 can go is here, and this has to be a 6. All right, filling in some numbers. What next? Can we figure out which one of these is 1 and which one of these is 3? Maybe. If this is 3, where can a 2 go? The only thing a 2 is 3 away from is 5. So we can't have a 2 in anything that's got a mark next to it. We can't have a 2 here because there was already a 2 in the row. So a 2 would have to go up here. The rest of that seems fine though, honestly. Suppose this is the 3 then. This would have to be 147 or 258 or 369. Can't be 258. So actually, it can't be 369 either because this end would have to be either a 3 or a 9, and it's not. So this would have to be 147, and in fact it'd have to be in this order. I'm not sure of these yet, but I'm filling it in to keep track. So if this were x equals 3, we'd have another one here. This would have to be 3, 6, or 6, 9, because, again, the only thing 2 is 3 away from is 5. The only thing 8 is 3 away from is 5. And it can't be 6, 9, because there's already a 9 here. So this would have to be 3, 6. And then we have 2, 8, 9 remaining here. Okay, this checks out as... Oh, no, it doesn't check out. No, because you can't have 2 3s in the same column. Yeah, okay. So actually, we do get a contradiction if we take this top left box to have marks between squares that are 3 apart. Okay, so let me say this again. If this is x equals 3 up on the top left, well, we want to look at what this chain of 3 is. It has to be 147 or 369. It can't be 369 because this is an endpoint, so it would have to be a 3 or a 9. It also can't be 147 in the other order because there's a 7, so it has to be 147 like this. Now we look at these two. These two are also 3 apart, so they have to be. So let's list all the numbers that are 3 apart. 1 and 4 can't be. 2 and 5 can't be. There's already a 5. 3 and 6 can't be because there's already a 3 in this column. 4 and 7 can't be. 5 and 8 can't be because of that 5. 6 and 9 can't be because of this 9, and that's all of them. So this is a contradiction. This one cannot be the 3. Oops. So this has to be the 1. And this has to be the 3. So now, this has to be 147 or 369, this chain of 3 here. So, which one is it? what do we have? We have 1, 4, 7, or 7, 4, 1 this way. Or it can be 3, 6, 9, we said. But you can't start with a 3 because of this 3. So 9, 6, 3 is the other way it could be. Okay. Aha, but if this was 1, 4, 7, sorry, let me, if this is 1, 4, 7, in either order, doesn't matter, what can go here? Can't be 1 and 4, can't be 2 and 5, can't be 3 and 6 because of this 3, can't be 4 and 7, can't be 5 and 8, can't be 6 and 9 because of that 9. So this can't be 1, 4, 7, this has to be 3, 6, 9. And it has to be in this order because of that 3 above the 9. So now what's left here? This has to be a 1 and a 4, I believe. We do not know the order yet. And one of these is a 2, and the other is a 7. This has to be the 2 because of that 7 over there, right here. Okay, so what's left in this row? Just 5 and 6. May as well mark that down. All right, we're making progress. Okay. So this here we said already is either 1, 3, 5, 7 or 3, 5, 7, 9. And again, it can go in either order, the chain. 1, 3, 5, 7 or 3, 5, 7, 9. Note that the middle two have to be 3, 5, and 7. You can't have 1 or 9 in the middle. That doesn't work. So this has to be 3 or 5. This has to be 5 or 7. And if this were 1, this would have to be a 3, so it can't be a 1. And it can't be a 3 either, so 5, 7, 9. Similarly, if this were 9, this would have to be a 7. So we can say that. Oh, you know what? We can't have a 1 here or here, so a 1 has to go somewhere in this chain. This tells us that this is 1, 3, 5, 7. And this endpoint has to be the 1, because it can't be a 7, because that's a 7. So we have now 1, 3, 5, 7. And then 4 and 9 are left over. What's left in this row? A 5 and a 7. Okay, let's look at this. It's probably time to get back to the x's and start figuring out what the other marks mean, but I want to see if I can get anything out of this. So these 3 have to be 3 consecutive numbers. 1, 2, 3 works. 2, 3, 4 works. 3, 4, 5 does not. We already have a 5 in the box. 4, 5, 6 does not. 5, 6, 7 does not. 6, 7, 8 does not, because we already have an 8 in this row. Similarly, 7, 8, 9 does not. So this has to be 1, 2, 3 or 2, 3, 4. Which means the middle one has to be 2 or 3. This has to be 1 or 2 because we have a 3 and a 4 over here already. So if this is a 2, this is a 3, and that's a 4. If this is a 1, then that's a 2, and that's a 3. Oops, 3, not 2. 3, 4. 3, 4. There we go. Okay, so we can get something out of that. Cool. Okay, and again, 2 consecutive numbers. One of them has to be odd. So a 1 or a 7. Which means the possible pairs are 1, 2, 6, 7, and 7, 8. That's kind of a lot, so I'm not going to write it down. Also, it can't be 1, 2, because then, what's this chain? This chain has to have a 2 in it. It's 1, 2, 3, or 2, 3, 4. So this has to be 6, 7, or 7, 8, which means this one has to be the 7. This has to be a 6 or an 8. Does that make sense? All right. Whew. Okay, yeah, now let's look at the other x's, see if we can figure out what the marks in the other boxes mean. To remind you, each box has a different number from 0 to 8, and the numbers next to each other with that difference are marked. We already discovered this one's 3, and this one's 2, and that one's 1. We still have to figure out what the others are. So I believe this one has to be a 4 or 5ers. So this one can't be 7 or 8. As I said earlier, there's only 2 possible ways to get 7 and only 1 possible way to get 8. So you can't have 3 pairs that differ by 7 or 3 that differ by 8. You can only have 1, 8, 2, 9, or if it's 8, 1, 9. There's got to be 4, 5, or 6 then. And it can't be 6 because the only 3 pairs for 6 are 1, 7, 2, 8, and 3, 9. And one of them has to, and none of them can have a 3 because of this 3 here. Uh-oh, am I frozen? No, okay. Because of this 3 here. Good. So it's got to be 4 or 5. Let's write that down. This one here. 4 or 5. If it's 4, what are the possible... if it's 5, what are the possible ones? You have a 1, 6. You have a 2, 7. And you have a 3, 8. You can't have a 3, 8 because of the 3. You got a 4, 9. So it's 1, 6, and 2, 7, and 4, 9. So one of these has to be 1, 6, right? That's our 3 pairs. 1, 6, 2, 7, and 4, 9. That means that one of these 3 has to be a 1 or a 6, because one of these pairs has to be a 1 and a 6. But none of these 3 can be a 1 or a 6 because of this one all the way down here and this 6. So this can't be 5. This has to be the 4. This is the 4 box. Also, I just realized a 1 can't be here. We know the order here. And that tells us about this. Great. Okay, now we can actually look at which ones are left in each column. This is a 7 and a 4? A 4 and a 7, I believe? And this can't be a 7 because then this would have to... Well, okay, it can't be a 7 because this would have to be a 3. It also can't be a 7 because of the 7 over here. So here's your 4, and here's your 7. And this differs from 4 by 4. So it's got to be an 8. Can't be a 0. That's not allowed. What's left here? 2 and 5. And then here is 1, 6, and 9 in this column. This can't be a 9. There's already a 9 in that row. So one of these pairs is going to be 2, 6, it looks like, and the other is going to be the 5 with either the 1 or the 9. This can't be a 5 because there's already a 5 in that row, so this is the 2, which means this is the 6. Since this can't be a 9, this one has to be the 1, this has to be this 9, this has to be the 5. Great, okay, another box. We're on a roll. Oh, and this can't be a 1 now, so this forces this to be a 2, 3, 4. So left in this box is 1, 6, 8, 9. Let's mark those down. Six and 8 have to go here. In particular, 6 can't go here because then where can a 6 go in that row below it? So this has to be a 1 instead. Similarly, this can't be an 8, so it's got to be the 9. So what's left in this row? 1, 3, and 8. This has to be the 8. So 1 and 3, 1 and 3. Because there's already 1 and 3 in this column. This row has to be 2, 5, 6, if I'm looking correctly. Yeah, so this box here, because this is an 8 paired with either a 1 or a 3, it's got to be 5 or x equals 5 or x equals 7. Tricky. Okay. So we have 0, 5, 6, 7, and 8 left for the different boxes. Oh, this can't be a 2. There's already a 2. Oh, actually, this can't be a 2 either. There's already a 2 in both columns. So we know about this. Anyhow, what's left in this column? 1, 3, 5, 6. Great. Oh, this can't be a 1, because there's already a 1 in that box, and it can't be a 3 or 5 because of these. So that's the 6. Okay, suppose that a 3 goes here and this is the 5. Then this has to be, this box here, we already said it can't be a 7 or an 8, because in order to have two numbers that differ by 7 or 8, one of them's got to be an 8 or a 9. Otherwise your difference is just going to be too low. So this has to be 5 or 6. And if it's 6, and if this is 5, then this has to be 6. So this would have to be the 1 and 7. In particular, 1, 7. We don't know this yet, I'm just hypothetically. So if this is 6, then we end up with a 1 and a 7 there. You know what? Let's go back. Let's look at this. Let's look at this from a regular old Sudoku perspective. Where can a 3 go in this box? There's only one spot. Boom, right there. What else can we deduce just looking at this like a regular old Sudoku? So there's only a few spots 2s can go in the boxes remaining. Oh hey, so if this were a 5, everything differs from 5. The farthest thing from 5 would be like a 1 or a 9. That's 4 away. Everything differs from 5 by 4 or less. And we already have the boxes for 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this can't be a 5. This has to be the 7. This has to be the 5. So this 7, I mean, this is x away from 7, and we know x can't be 1, 2, 3, or 4, so it's got to be at least 5 away from 7. So that means this is a 1 or a 2, this box I have marked right now. And it can't be a 1, because there's a 1 above it in that top left box. So this is a 2, and that means that this is the 5 box. So can this be the 5 box? Nope, there's only one 5 box. So this can't be the 3, this has to be the 1. This has to be the 3. That tells us that this is the 7. Now, 0, 6, and 8 are left for boxes. This can't be x equals 0 because you can't have two numbers differ by 0, like in the same box. That's not how Sudoku works. It can't be 8 because then these would have to be 1 and 9, and there's already a 9 over here. So this has to be the x equals 6 box. Now one of these is x equals 0 and one of them is x equals 8. It's a little bit moot since, I mean, there aren't any marks anyways. So, oh, you know what? It's not. Just regular old Sudoku, where can a 1 go in this middle box? Can't go in the left column, can't go in the middle column. It's got to go right here. So this can't be 8, otherwise this would be marked. So the middle box is the x equals 0 box. Here's the x equals 8 box. Excellent. All right, now we know what all the markings mean. That's really good. Okay. So to I guess clarify my notation, here's the Sudoku grid. in this this little notepad I have here. This top left box, the marks mean they differ by 1. The top right box, the marks mean they differ by 4. Bottom middle box, the marks differ by 8, except, I mean, there aren't any, but and so on. So as we said before, if this is 6, this has to be a 1 and a 7. Got to be in that order. I think now we can pretty much just finish the puzzle. 9, 6. This is 1, 4, 8 left in this box, so a 1 here. 4 and an 8 down here. Where can 9 go in this box? Has to be somewhere in the left column, but it can't be here because then there'd be a mark between these two, because these two differ by 9, or by 8, sorry. So this is where the 9 goes. 3, 4, 5, 7 left in this box. Oh, this has to be a 5. There's only one thing left there. This has to be a 3. What did I say? 4 and 7? I hope that's right. And then 4 and 6 here. So the only place a 2 can go in this column is right here. That leaves 4, 5, 6 in this box. I think we're going to have to look at the differences one more time somewhere. Just got to figure out where. What's left in this box? 4, 5, 6, 8. Excuse me. 5, 8. 4, 5, 8. Okay, so I don't think this is enough information with regular Sudoku. I could be wrong. No, it is enough. We have a 5 and a 6 here and a 5 and a 6 here. So this can't be a 6, or these would both have to be 5s. This has got to be the 4. And that should kill everything. Or close to everything. I'm not sure yet. Yeah, this can't be a 5, because then both of these would have to be 6s. So this is your 8, here's your 5, here's your 6, here's your 5, here's your 6. Whew! We did it. Is it correct? It's correct. Yeah, the test is over, so I'm not allowed to submit, but we got it right. All right. I apologize if that was a little bit too complicated. I probably shouldn't pick such complicated variants to stream. They're a little bit, at least until I get better at explaining things. My little stream status thing says I still have 1 viewer, so if you are an actual viewer and not a bot, thank you for sticking around. Do I want to do one more? I did say I would go for a full 2 hours. It is not 11 o'clock yet. I have like 5 minutes. Nah, I think I won't. I haven't eaten yet. Thanks for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed these Sudoku variants. All the different variants are my favorite part of Sudoku. I think it makes it really interesting. And don't get me wrong, I love classic Sudoku as well. In fact, next week, I'm going to stick to just classic Sudoku. So if that's what you're here for, Wednesday, 9 p.m. Central, will be Sudoku Guy's classic Sudoku solving session. I have just decided. No variants, just regular old Sudoku. So thank you for watching. I will see you around.